remember all of our witnesses. We all share the goal of making our highways and transit safer, more efficient, and more accessible. I'm glad to see that the Department of Transportation has made progress toward these goals in rulemakings, but there's plenty of work to do in the upcoming Surface Reauthorization Bill. Before I get into my questioning, I want to mention one such topic, which is the increasing number of truck crashes and fatalities. There has been a 49% increase in truck crash fatalities over the last 10 years. While it's true, thankfully, that in fatalities, this is a small percent of a larger number. FMCSA, most recent data shows over 500,000 truck crashes in 2021. Even though a small percentage resulted in deaths, that still amounts to over 5,000 deaths per year. To those who contend that our insurance minimums do not need to be raised because only a small percentage of cases exceed the minimum, I'd like to ask you to tell 5,000 families who have lost loved ones or sustained lifelong disabilities that they deserve to live in debt because they are part of a statistical minority. On that note, I'd like to reiterate a point Ms. Osborne made in her testimony about the upcoming Surface Reauthorization Bill, that we cannot continue to fund the same systems and expect different outcomes. Ms. Osborne, we're all aware of the 80-20 split that directs the majority of funding towards our highways over our transit systems. But as many transit agencies reach fiscal cliffs and highway congestion continues to worsen despite highway widening projects, it's clear that deprioritizing transit isn't working well for anyone. Question: how could transit parity improve these issues, and what can be done by Congress to address transit parity?
I appreciate the question. We have spent the last 70 plus years building out a strong and integrated highway system, but we have not put the same attention into the other modes of travel. One of our priorities is to invest in the rest of the system, to put the same level of focus on building out a strong transit system, passenger rail system, freight rail system, and bike ped system. Putting more funding towards that effort is important, and especially as we've basically busted the trust fund, since so little of the trust fund is paid for by user fee and really isn't a trust fund anymore. The old rules about who's paying in and where the money should go hasn't been the case really since 2009, and it's time to update our priors there. I'd also like to see, not just on the transit system, but on the roadway system, something I'm hearing repeatedly from folks on the ground, is that this program needs to be a part of the operations and maintenance of the overall system so that we can guarantee we get the most efficient outcomes of our investments.
Thank you. Investing in transit will help mitigate climate change by reducing gashouse emissions. How does the FHWA greenhouse gas rule equip states to reduce carbon emissions, and why is it important for communities that experience disproportionate highway pollution? You've got about a minute.
It's important to provide more sunshine into what agencies' intentions are and to give us a barometer to measure them by. We should not oversell it. It is just a sunshine law. Agencies set their own targets, and if they miss them, there's really no penalty for it. But at the same time, we need not be overwrought about the damage it will do or how it will impact investments. In fact, if you look at most transportation agencies' environmental documents, benefit cost analyses, their models show that expansion of highways will reduce emissions. I don't think their models are very accurate, and we don't really test them or look back to see if they are correct. But considering the fact that they claim it's going to be great for emissions, I'm not sure why they're so concerned about then measuring them.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields, Mr.